IVM.
Hello and welcome to Simblified, the podcast that talks about things with very little clue, knowing that our audience has even less clue about it. And that is our USP. I am Tony and I am joined by Narain. Say hi, Narain.
Hi, hello everybody. And it's good to be back again talking about nothing in particular, nothing in general, but we've got something in particular. Always there's something in particular.
Yeah. Narain, since we last spoke, some very interesting thing happened. Actually, on the face of it, it was a little sad. My daughter was playing with a cat which scratched her. So she had to get 4 shots of whatever the preventive is across 28 days. So yeah. I mean, the first one was a little scary, but then she got used to it because she started getting a toy every time she had to take a shot. But interestingly enough, I took it as an opportunity to say, okay, now shall we get your ears pierced? Because when she was a little baby, she wouldn't let anyone anywhere near her. So finally, because of that whole episode, we finally managed to get her ears pierced. So benefit ho sakta hai is the general mood of the whole thing, which is actually relevant to what we're discussing today. It's something called greenwashing, which is basically, because there have been this whole awakening about environment and sustainability and stuff like that. What marketers do to sort of make claims that are outlandish. So there was basically some regulation around the environment, which they sort of said, okay, let's turn it to our advantage and make it into a marketing activity. That is what we'll be talking about.
Good. That's a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
And subverting popular sentiment is basically the economic 101 of these days, right? So you take whatever is that, you sort of twist it out of shape and use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Come on, billionaire. Yeah.
False advertising has been around for a while, right? I mean, not just us in this podcast industry with ultra crepidarianistic tendencies, but I think Guinness ran a campaign that went Guinness is good for you for the longest time, right? Beer, which is supposedly good for you. But I think the best and longest sustaining false advertising has been the homeopathy industry in itself, right? Yeah. So what is basically greenwashing is, let's give it a little background. There has been pollution and environmental pollution has been going on for a while now, and people have woken up to it. And therefore, companies have had to start paying attention to it, right? In the energy sector, clean energy is what everyone has to talk about and stuff like that. And there has been a lot of public awareness, which has led to environmental consideration, right? And what has in turn happened is that because of this, consumers are also become woke and stuff like that. And according to a Nielsen research, 66% of global consumers are willing to pay more for environmentally friendly products. So I don't know. Are you in the 34% or are you in the 66%?
No, it's an automatic thing. So moment you have your it's not pay extra, not necessarily just pay extra, but if you're given 2 choices, where one of them is environmentally unfriendly and the other one is environmentally friendly, you will go for the environmentally friendly one. So the balance is already tilted in that direction. And I guess, so we keep doing it all the time. We keep buying organic stuff for a little, it just says organic, and buy it. It's 5 grams or whatever you eat of some lettuce leaves. Once in a blue moon.
Exactly. So, and marketers have woken up to this reality as well, right? So on the one side, there is obviously this push towards sustainability and triple bottom line, I believe it's called, right? Which is not just profit, but focus on people and planet also. So PPP, triple bottom line.
I didn't know this. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it's about like economic, not just economic, but environmental and social performance also. Triple bottom line is what companies need to chase. And they have like a full CSR department, which will bring out nice brochures and stuff like that. So that's, that's actually good. But basically, on the other side, marketers have woken up to it, and green marketing strategies basically, put their corporate image and social responsibility front and center to, gain economic benefit. Let's be honest about it. And fascinatingly, like when you look at the products that advertise as like green or whatever, right? So 95% of the products in the US and Canada, according to a 2010 study, did this thing called greenwashing, which is basically like underplaying the environmental performance. Like they have poor environmental performance, but they underplay it, but positive communication about environmental performance. So
it's a takeoff on whitewashing. So when you whitewash your misdeeds, so this is like greenwash your ecological misdeeds. So that's I guess how that works.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah, it's also called green sheen, I think. But interestingly, like this topic was sent to me by one of our regular listeners who also happens to be like a friend from college, Dr. Harita. Harita also means green, I suppose. So it's a nice, So
every time she washed her face, it would be like Harita has greenwashed herself.
But greenwashing, the first use of the term was like way back in 1986 by this environmental activist called Jay Westerveld. And it's actually like from a practice that we all would have seen where hotels began to ask guests to reuse towels, claiming that it was, for environmentally friendly reasons and like water conservation and all of that. But their actions, did not have any like good things for the environment. In fact, it only led to like more environmental issues. So it's basically like disinformation about what the product or company stands for. And it's sort of like selective disclosure, but also to gain a marketing edge. And it can happen at like multiple levels, right? So it can be at like a firm level, at a corporate level, saying, we are amazing and environmentally friendly and green, or it can also be at a product level. So I think GE had this like corporate level campaign called Eco-Magination. And they advertise basically they're like, environmentally friendly and stuff like that. And on behind the screen, they were like lobbying to fight the new clean air requirements and stuff like that. So very clearly, it's like a two-phase strategy, right? And
it's disingenuous is the there's like the dictionary word for this.
And at a product level, like there was one instance where LG had like they just put Energy Star labels on their like products, claiming that it's an eco label of energy efficiency, and like they found that like at least 10 models of their refrigerators were not at the efficiency level to be certified. So you just slap on a label and like call it energy efficient.
I sort of do this with I used to get away with it because a lot of the food I eat is not what is popularly called healthy. So my wife would be very, she should disapprove of me eating a lot of those things. So I started calling them low calorie. So you like low calorie. And initially, it's a low calorie gulab jamun. And then she realized that it was the only thing low calorie about it was me calling it so.
Yeah. Well, this also happens like a lot in Indian households, right? Like people are like, sugar is harmful. Instead, we'll have jaggery and honey. And like it's supposed to be better in some way or the other. And actually, like so much so that the belief spread that if you like take honey, it will help you slim.
Yeah.
So the original idea was to substitute sugar with honey, and that supposedly has some benefits. But now instead, people started consuming extra honey to go slim and stuff like that. So yeah, these things.
And like homeopathy, once the belief sets in, it's like cement. It's impossible to
yeah. So before WhatsApp, like there used to be these pseudoscientific, like I used to call them the Vanita signs. Vanita is like a popular, magazine down south. But basically, like it's amazing how this industry has spread into WhatsApp.
Vanita science is a good name for that.
Yeah. So other than at a firm and product level, it can basically greenwashing can happen at like a claim level or an executional level. So claim level basically means that claims which are vague and broad and ambiguous or without a clear definition and stuff like that, right? So there have been like a very large set of classifications of what are the sins of greenwashing. Maybe we can just briefly go into that to understand what are the different strategies employed. So the first one is called the sin of the hidden trade-off. Basically, it will suggest that a product is green based on some narrow set of attributes without looking at the larger environmental issues, right? Like paper is supposedly environmentally preferable compared to let's say plastic or something like that, because it's supposedly like recyclable and stuff like that. But there are like several issues with paper making, right? Like during the process itself, there are greenhouse gas emissions or chlorine use and stuff like that. So the hidden trade-off is one of the sins of greenwashing.
Yeah, you never know the true picture.
Yeah, then
paper making is hugely damaging to the water resources, is what I know. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. The second one is fairly more simple, whereas it's the sin of no proof. And basically, it's a claim that cannot be substantiated easily. And this happens on products with like, there will be like some percentage or statistics claims. Facial tissues or toilet tissue products that will claim that, it's X% recycled content and stuff like that without providing any evidence. Like it'll be in some fine print or some microsite that you have to visit and figure out what exactly the claim is. But when you're buying thing, you basically see the
the blurb. That's all you see.
Yeah.
You just see the big thing written on that.
Yeah. So beyond the no proof, there's always the sin of vagueness, which is basically too broad and non-specific claims, right? Like you'll see products which call themselves all natural. But like it can contain arsenic, uranium, mercury, or any of these things which are basically naturally occurring. So like I think chemical necessarily has a very bad connotation when it comes to marketing, but like all natural doesn't mean it's necessarily green, right? So that's another one of the like vague kind of greenwashing that happens. Then of course there's the like false labeling itself, which is to say like you can have any kind of certification, right? As in like you can stick a label with any kind of certification to say that this product fights global warming, or any kind of green jargon, like it's eco preferred or eco safe or stuff like that. So you just slap on a label and people will believe it and buy it. So these are some of the ways in which products are marketed.
A lot of it is very cynical, right? So they do it in full knowledge that the claims have no basis in fact, and they do it just to increase. They're basically playing the customer for a sucker. Is there any danger of customers sort of reacting adversely when they find out that they're being made a
Yeah. Yeah, so that's like one of the things is called green skepticism, wherein because a lot of the, like if 95% of the products sold have like some kind of greenwashing associated with it, obviously people start
so the
wondering.
5% which actually do the good, the genuine thing, you're going to paint them with the same color. Yeah.
And it's kind of obvious, right? Because anything that is environmentally friendly or sustainable is likely to be small and niche, but the sheer marketing engine of like a large corporation will put out a bigger, better message that makes you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, right? So you'll end up buying the less sustainable thing rather than because necessarily or most likely it is that your profit margins will reduce when you take the sustainable route, right? Unless there's a way to sort of do that, in which case anyway the corporates will latch onto it. So I think there are two parts. One is the green skepticism. The second is like the smaller players obviously get impacted. Then there are like a few more sins of greenwashing. Like one is irrelevance, where something that is banned by the law. There are products that call themselves CFC free. But CFC is banned by law itself, so it's not like you can put it there, but it's a good label to have because it's not necessary that the people need to be aware of it.
It's like calling yourself non-violent because you can't go and punch the
guy. Exactly.
But you were 4 feet 11 inches tall, you would have suddenly lost your belief in it.
Like having a Tinder bio that says non-murderer or something like that. Yeah. Then the other thing is to have, claim the lesser of two evils. So a fuel efficient sports utility vehicle being marketed as like a, green thing or environmentally friendly. But I mean, basically it's only the lesser of two evils, right? It doesn't have like a positive.
It's burning. Yeah. It's not that it's not burning.
And the other interesting thing was fracking, which the oil and gas industry came up with, where they basically promoted this whole thing based on a set of false hopes, like saying that it's hydraulic fracking is, better for the environment, but actually it's not necessarily the case, right? So, and there was also fear mongering associated with it. Then the sin of injustice, which is to say that you only speak to communities that benefit from the outcome of fracking, but not necessarily the ones that suffer its consequences, right? So stuff like that. So essentially at a firm level, it can be sort of classified into multiple things. So you will normally see that the ones spending the most amount of advertising dollars on green campaigns are the ones that are inherently in dirty businesses, right? Like oil or some of these things where I think BP had a huge campaign of how they are cleaning up the oceans and stuff like that, right? So
they have an entire department devoted to that. They're angels in human shape. And the world is basically staying in one place, basically because BP is doing its stuff. That's it.
Yeah. So, basically at a firm level, you are probably in a dirty business and then you put on a lot of advertising bluster to divert attention from the sustainable issue at hand. But, basically putting on a spin of what it is that they're doing. And in many cases, it's possibly the law itself that's preventing them from doing things, but they take the baton and, run forward with the claim that they're extremely environmentally friendly and stuff like that. The other one, of course, is fuzzy reporting, because sustainability reports are like a, one-way communication channel, right? So you hire even more MBAs to sort of figure out ways in which you can spin how you are doing, CSR and sustainability activities.
In fact, there was this guy, Alan Greenspan, right? So Alan Greenspan, he specialized in talking about the economy. He was the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And in his defense, if he said something that would immediately make the markets go, one way or the other. So he thought it was his beholden duty not to later. So he specialized in talking about things that nobody could figure out one day. a lot of these, and it was called green speak. That's what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of this green speak is also similar. I think they talk, it sounds great, and you really don't know what it is till you unbundle it. And for most of us, we really don't have the time. I mean, we have a job to hang on to, we have a salary to have. Who wants to unbundle some really complicated? Just buy or whatever goods or services and move along. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, green speak is sort of like page rank, right? Like Larry Page gave the name page rank, but it's also about like pages on the internet. So you think it's about one thing, but has a different origin. So those are the claims of greenwashing. But
I didn't know that about Larry Page and Page rank.
Oh yeah. See, you also can learn something new.
I'm from the generation which used to watch Larry Page.
So other than the claims, basically at an executional level, there are like many strategies of greenwashing, right? Basically like any product or brand that uses like green or blue colors, basically nature evoking elements or sounds of sea and birds and background representation of mountains, forests and stuff like that, right? Like I think one of the examples that they spoke about was basically water bottled at source or untouched by man. It'll have like a full spin around how it is pristine and stuff like that. But ultimately it's like bottled in plastic bottles and shipped around the world at huge cost, right? So even at an executional level, this is very, very popular because if you were in a supermarket and you were picking up a bottle of water, you probably would tend to pick up the one that is green and has like, these connotations of nature and environment in it, right? So
great deal of behavioral psychology goes into this. I'm pretty sure. It's like, it's so sophisticated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and especially with the advent of the internet, right? Like, what color buttons get clicked on more than what other color and stuff like that. And so, basically you have these analysis of heat maps and where people are looking at. I'm sure it exists even in like retail and stuff like that, but that is how it is. But technically, like the only way to sort of, and ultimately it plays into the consumer psyche, right? Like no one wants to suddenly be seen as environmentally unfriendly. And stuff like
that's peer pressure for you, yes?
Yeah.
You judge people based on their purchasing choices.
Yeah.
And
I think the Prius made like a lot of sales because of this one thing, right? Like hybrid and stuff like that. So, yeah, but I mean, really the only truly way to be environmentally friendly is to like shop way less and like
consume less. Yes.
Yeah.
We consume a lot of stuff. In fact, I just can't get over the tradition of pouches at least in India. You buy 5 rupees worth of wafers and it comes in one big pouch, which is basically indestructible. Like when that asteroid finally hits us and that piece of paper is going to be there. Narendra Shenoy won't be there. Tony Sebastian won't be there. That piece of paper is going to hang around.
Yeah, and aliens will come
and they'll look at Kurkure and
the prominent life forms here are plastic bags. So so that's about greenwashing, which seemed like an interesting topic. And thank you again to Haritha.
And at least for me, I didn't even know it was a thing. And there it was right under our noses, people doing it all the time.
Yeah. But next time, I mean, I think we'll at least keep a lookout for these false claims, right?
Yeah.
And like, at least like know that these things are just marketing gimmicks and not necessarily.
You will see this happening and you'll smile to yourself.
Like the organic kiwi fruit, for instance, right? Like if kiwi is grown only in New Zealand, it doesn't matter if it's the most environmentally friendly thing. To reach you, it has
ships and trains
so much fuel by the time it gets here. It's basically,
and it comes in its own indestructible blister pack plastic case.
So that's it.
Yes,
I think we can sign off.
Yes, stay safe, stay ungreenwashed, and stay simplified. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors very quickly this week, thewholetruthfoods.com, Storytel, and Seat. We really do appreciate your support. And we had a great week on the network this week. So tune in for some sweetness with our hosts Sadaf and Archit as they hone their sweet tooth and talk about candies. The famous, the healthy, the traditional, and international. Check out Naan Curry. You'll enjoy it. On last week's episode of The Note, Maruk and I spoke to TV presenter and columnist Veer Sanghvi, who analyzed the 2 years of the second term of the Modi government. As China and India signed the disengagement agreement along the LAC, Lieutenant General Dr. Prakash Menon and Manoj Kewalramani joined Suyash Desai to discuss the process and the consequences it will have on the nation and in world politics. Dr. Anton Harder joins Hamsani Hariharan on States of Anarchy to discuss India's right to a seat at the United States Security Council. Ashton Doctor talks about duty, how individually it binds us and how as a society it is liberating. Check out The Habit Coach with Ashton every day. Great show and great fun to listen to that. On Football Shotwal, the boys talk about their loves and sorrows for teams and their current ranks in the world of football. And also do remember to check out Cyrus Says. We had a great week last week. We had Amol Mazumdar, the ex-cricketer. We had Rocky and Mayur. And we did the Valentine special with Aisha and Kunal. Great fun. Do check it out. I'm sure you will enjoy that. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxious, struggling with too many obstacles, don't know where your life is headed? Well, if you are dealing with one or all of these, tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast, because in each episode, I share a life lesson, a life hack, a pro tip that can help you get your life back on track. All episodes are available on the IBM website, IBM Podcast app, or wherever it is that you get your podcast from.